Hello everyone, this is Kelly Beard of KarmicTools.com, and this is your weekly forecast for December 22nd to the 28th of 2024. So our quote for the week says, "The dismantling does not need your attention. There is no need to fix or amplify dissolving structure." Deep breath. 2025, we walk a cusp of huge endings and new beginnings. So we absolutely have to dissolve old structures so that we can build new ones that are more appropriate for here and now. So this update is going out Friday evening. I hope it catches you in time to join us Saturday afternoon, evening, for the winter solstice fire ceremony. This kicks off the new year in my world. We have 8 sacred seasons. This will be the first one for 2025. And while it's a free community event, we do welcome $22 is a suggested donation, but we welcome anything and appreciate everything. But in order to get to the replay and all the goodies, which there's a lot of goodies this time, you do have to register. So if you don't catch it in time, you can still click the register button and it'll actually put you right immediately in there, and you'll find the replay and divinations, the community reading. I've updated our lunar tools layout for the new year to include different kinds of guidance and support than last year. I like to do that every year, freshen things up. I'm working on the animal medicine because January is bringing salmon medicine, which is new and different. We used to do puma, or the big cats, mountain lion, cougar, like that for January. But this year I created these medicine wheels with an animal in each direction to represent each element. And so I had to rearrange things. But that was kind of fun and inspiring too. So I look forward to getting those tools ready for you for January. Meantime, this week has the big major activation. This is relatively rare, but part of a main cycle that we all go through. Jupiter and Saturn are our social planets. They rule our social systems and social structures, the ones that we are rebirthing. And as of 2020, it kicked off a new 20-year cycle that moves in 5-year increments. So here we are. 2025 is the first click, the first test. When, if you've gotten a reading from me or taken any of the classes, you know I'm always thinking about what time is it in the cycle. Is it initiation time or integration time? Or is it a testing time? And right now is a testing time for everybody. What I did like about this particular cycle, because this is the first one kicking off a 200-year cycle. So it's a 20-year cycle kicking off a 200-year cycle. That's one thing. But it's also at those 5-year increments, or those pivot points in the cycle are happening now, 2024. And this time it's Gemini to Pisces. So it's the mutable energy. We're processing everything that's over and done socially and collectively, and really trying to wrap our brains around that. That's a major part of this anyway. But it is an upgrade to your consciousness and your belief systems and what's possible for you in your beliefs, right? Like if you don't even believe that you can upgrade your life in certain ways, then you'll never take the steps to do it. So we want to activate our imaginations right now for sure to get to those creative solutions that are designed just for us. But the next click that's going to happen will be like 29, 30, 31, and it'll cross over. 2 of the 5 will be Scorpio to Taurus, and 3 of the 5 will be Sag to Gemini. So we'll get a lot of work done at those course corrections around then. But then we're back to testing. And what I was going to say is I like the fact that the testing periods are going to hit us from all angles. So this first one is processing. The next one will be like 35, 36 will be Cancer to Aries, mixing it up really powerfully. And then the final one will be Taurus to Leo in the fixed energies. So we're going to go through a processing part of this cycle. We're going to go through some choices and decisions in this cycle that are going to affect us long term. And we're going to go through some anchoring and or releasing permanently. So this particular activation that we're talking about this week, Jupiter square Saturn, Gemini to Pisces, is happening 3 times over because of the retrograde process. So we have already had our first hit August 19th. December 24th this week on Tuesday is our second hit, and then the final hit will be June 15th of 2025. So this is almost a year process of us growing, changing, evolving, making choices and decisions, around those new belief systems and hopefully anchoring some new spiritual practices. That's a lot of what I pushed for Saturn in Pisces, is to give your spirit work a structure so that it can support and protect you. That's what all the ancestor work and everything we do with Yeye is about, is that we have these protections no matter what the world is doing. And you've heard me talk about Jupiter and Saturn being a little bit of a tag team. Jupiter comes through first, expanding our consciousness around what's possible, and then Saturn says, make it real. So right now, when we have a square or a test to grow, it's something that has to change in our consciousness so our reality can change, and then we have to change something in the reality so our consciousness can go to the next level. But for this activation, we have a Kellyism. When you change, everything and pretty much everyone around you must change or go away. It is the natural law. This means adjustments are going to have to be made around your belief system and your reality. Are they congruent? Are you living your truth? Do you know your true purpose at this time? While this may not be an easy one, it is a good one. Think of your life path since 2020. This is the new 20-year cycle. So if you need to reflect on the last few pivot points, which would have been 2015, back to 2010, 2005, back to the initiation of the previous 20-year cycle, started in 2000 and took us to 2020. So you can loosely gauge 20, 40, 60, 80 like that and see how our truth and purpose evolves personally. You can look at your own life at 20, 40, 60, etc. But up in the sky, socially and collectively, we're moving things along. And this particular cycle is part of the big 200-year cycle, which up until 2000, like let's say 1800 to 2000, was every 20 years Jupiter and Saturn got together in earth signs. Now, as of 2020 going forward, the next 200 years, every 20 years, Jupiter and Saturn are getting together in air signs. So we have essentially shifted on a social collective level what our values are. The value used to be on material things, physical items, material wealth, and things that earth-based, your body, your beauty, all that. So now everything is ideas and concepts and intellectual property and technology. It's all very intangible. It's not as tangible as it used to be. So we're going to have to make some adjustments to function. But with this one, it's a great time to really meditate on how you'd like your life to be a reflection of your truth and purpose. These two activate the expand, consolidate process within. But in this case, it is not an either or. You must do both, but in very different areas of life. Your Gemini Pisces houses in this case. Often sacrifices must be made in the name of progress. And in this case, it's your progress. The blessing of this activation is that if you are solid on your truth and purpose, then you can gain some real traction with your professional or educational goals. Jupiter always brings expansion, so whatever you're doing or creating at this time can have long-term results. So be patient when you're feeling restless or limited. Pause, pray, then proceed to break to realign with your truth and purpose, right? That means we have to interrupt what we're doing so we can reset it and be on a better track. There is always disruption during growth spurts, and sacrifices will be made, but not in a careless or destructive way. At least that's the goal. This activation challenges you to align what you believe is possible for you with the reality you're living. So, upgrades all around, let's take it. But we do have to expand our vision on what's possible for the reality. That's a big part of it. What do you believe is even possible? And how has that evolved over the last 3, 6, 9, 12 years with Jupiter? And how do you do in this mutable area where you have to process? A lot of people don't process their lives. They don't take time to think about what's going on and really make the connections between some of the lessons. And therefore, they repeat mistakes. They repeat their lessons over and over. Because if you don't remember, that's what they mean when they say you're destined to repeat it. So we are trying to track and make sure we are evolving in our consciousness here so that we can manifest that new reality, but we have to do it a different way. Now we have to work with our spirit team. It's not about hard labor or individualistic, colonized ways of making things happen. Now it's your essence, it's your vibration, it's your frequency that's going to manifest for you. So how can we clean that up? Because it's been pretty heavy for all these earth years. And now we need to lighten up and be able to work with our spirit team more directly. And what we have defined as magic all these years is really just part of living on earth, working the elements and being an alchemist. Like we're born that way. It's beat out of us, but it's in there. Now, technically, we are on the other side coming out of Mercury retrograde. It went forward on the 15th. We're talking on the 20th. This week coming up on Thursday the 26th is the final hit between Mercury opposite Jupiter. So here's where we've been evolving our thinking anyway and integrating and processing as much as we can in the Gemini Sag zones. So this one is hit 3 times over. The first hit was November 18th. The second hit was December 4th. And now this final hit is this week, December 26th. Any opposition requires us to work with 2 distinct energies and get them to work together for the good of all involved. It is also a midpoint, which allows you that 180-degree view from the other side of your starting point roughly 6 months ago. Mercury and Jupiter are working out the push-pull within you between your mind and consciousness, between your thinking and beliefs, between your thoughts and imagination, between the tedious details and the grand vision. Because of all this, it would be tremendously beneficial to play amongst a group of like-hearted souls with varying points of view. Mavericks who follow their intuition, as well as humble healers who also buck status quo by following their intuitive knowing within, something we all have the capacity for. This is great for what I call jam sessions, when my colleagues and I get together to discuss our ideas and insights about our professional goals. Something like that is a great use of this energy. Plan, strategize, discuss with others, get input and feedback, bounce ideas around, and be open and receptive to others' points of view, because they may think of something that you didn't. Make sure it is a circle where all opinions are valued, even if not shared. This is a good one for learning something new and looking at things from another angle completely. So, a couple of things. On one hand, what ideas did you put in play 6 months ago, let's say summer, May, June, July, in that zone that are in need of attention, upgrade, clarity, confirmation, or grounding, anchoring, manifesting? So what's going on with the ideas that you put in play within the last year, but also what's been going on just November, December in the rethinking of some ideas or some creative babies or some interactions with others, depending on where your Gemini Sag is, right? So we're rethinking things in those departments and trying to expand the vision around what's possible. And the retrograde was helpful because it slowed us down before we jumped on things that may not turn out to be what we thought they were, So let's be very clear before we make commitments in the new year, which takes us to, with Jupiter in Gemini and Saturn in Pisces squaring off, and here we got Mercury in Sag getting in the mix. So it's like Mercury's hitting both of them, and the very next day on Friday the 27th, it's going to square Saturn for the 3rd and final time. Also happened November 12th and December 6th, so this is also part of a process of recalibrating your thinking where your reality is concerned. So this energy is good for deep self-reflection and intentional solitude, rather than negotiating with others, as it can create challenges around communication and self-expression. It is easier to feel misunderstood when trying to convey something, or you may seem a little down to others when really it's just more of a serious, not necessarily negative vibration. This is not usually good energy for business negotiations unless every detail is very clear to all involved. This energy often makes you most critical of yourself, but it could trickle over onto others. Basically, Saturn helps you see where any weakness and instability is going on, so you're recognizing what needs to be fixed or fortified. And Mercury can actually be useful for learning. Beware of a tendency toward apathy, pessimism, and/or depression. That's Saturn and Mercury, which makes it more mental than literal. Try to stay focused on all the blessings that you do have and all that you have accomplished instead of what's still on the list of things to do in life. This energy is not intended to make you feel bad about all the things left yet to do, but encourage you to begin the necessary steps and be okay with small measures of progress for now. This energy tends to make you focus on the practical side of manifesting. Clear the mental distractions and emotional debris, and begin to lay a new, clean, solid foundation beneath your goals. Then strategize about the details of bringing them to fruition. That will cheer you up too. So it's about seriousness, right? With Saturn, we get serious. And it's a reality check. And in this case, it's our mental body, Mercury, our ideas, thoughts, and concepts, how we think and process. And if we skip that, then our reality can be unstable. So it's good to have these check-ins. Mercury goes backwards 3 to 4 times a year. That's not too much to ask to do a little processing. To that end, for anyone that's new, there was a Mercury replay talking about the Mercury in Sag. If that's personal, you have a lot of Gemini, Sag, or Virgo, Pisces, then it's affecting you directly. You might want to check out the Mercury replay. This will probably be the last week I put it in the blog, but it's always up on the YouTube or the podcast channels. Saturday the 28th has our last activation with Venus square Uranus. This is Aquarius to Taurus. So it's part of our unique contribution and our sovereignty and freedom within our relationships, or our finances for that matter, being radically shifted by Uranus for getting us present. This is a test to grow that you can't always plan for. Venus rules your values and priorities, and an activation with Uranus signifies something sudden and seemingly out of the blue. Of course, this isn't true, but it can feel that way. The truth is, it is time to do something different where your love, finances, or relationships are concerned. Making a conscious effort to do things in a completely new way will be rewarded with a lesson and a blessing that you would have never considered before now. Due to new revelations happening within you, the immediate response will come from those closest to you. If you're in relationships, personal or professional, that have reached a point where they have to change or end, this is a good time to try to discuss it openly and with as much detachment and objectivity as possible. This energy can provoke the need for excitement or stimulation in your relationships, giving you the urge to shake things up. Be aware and mindful of others' feelings too, though, because they may not be in the mood for such sudden change. Another expression of this energy is to get things on the table. It's a great time to really discuss things and come to an agreement or compromise. Ultimately, this is a test of your flexibility in relationships. The more inflexible and attached to status quo that you are, then the more disruptive this energy can be. Deep breath. So I hope you can make it to the fire ceremony, and if not, I hope you check out all the goodies because there's lots of updated tools in the classroom. And I'm very grateful for the community. We are winding down the year. I am so blessed and grateful for all of you. We have all grown together in these classes that we've taken. I have been dreaming up what I want to do for 2025, so I will need some people to help me flesh out some new classes, which is always fun, but I'm seeing 2025 as my kind of dry run to put these new classes into a form that we can really launch big time in 2026. The classes I do with Yeye are always on Saturdays. So the classes I teach for myself over here, I might be on Sundays and Tuesdays. I historically did Astro 101 on Tuesday evenings, and it's always worked out. Sundays I might work in winter and summer, but my spring and fall classes will be on Tuesday evenings. And that's partly because I've put Astro 101 at the end of the year for those who are looking forward to it in 25. It's going to be done in October, November while we're doing Cracking the Code because it's the only class I can do at the same time. Otherwise, Cracking the Code is a deep commitment. It's a lot of work outside of just the classes. It's ancestor season, so we all have a lot more to do at that time. And for those of you who asked for an Astro 101 Level 2, I'm dreaming about that too. And we might be able to pull off an initial dry run on that one so you all can help me flesh it out. Meantime, we're dreaming up a 2-day event for Astro Activism with me and Yeye together in the spring. And hopefully by fall, we'll have the planets and Orishas worked out because we have had a lot of requests for those too. In between, we're going to work some little things, some like 1-day workshops here and there that are going to be fun. Definitely doing a sacred crafts night. So stay tuned, everyone. I'm working things out, working this schedule out so that we can get as much done in the new year as possible because, again, we're on this ending, new beginning cusp of things. So it's a good time to practice with some new forms and things that you know you can anchor by 2026. That will have a new beginning, that will have a new foundation, and that we will be stepping into new territory. Meantime, posted the Capricorn article because we're kicking off Capricorn now. We're still in December with owl medicine. Like I said, we'll switch to salmon medicine in January. The Astro Tarot reading, of course, is a good one. I have a lot of you that have already gotten that one that are doing your annual updates now. So if you just want to check in with what is going on for 25, we can do that too. The Power Circle subscription is a way to support the site for only $9.99 a month or $99 for the year, which gets you 2 months for free. And you get a bunch of personal goodies, bonus goodies for being a member. And of course, the Karmic Tools affiliate program gets you a little kickback when you share my links. And if you're really new to the community, at the bottom of the blog is the Soul Sisters Circle invitation video, which is only 19 minutes, but it gives you a little background on me and our circles. And we invite you to join us anytime. You can drop in or subscribe to all of my things. Okay, y'all, join us when and where you can. Reach out when you need to, and have a fantastic week. This is Kelly Beard of Karmic Tools signing off.